All right, welcome everybody. What's up? I know pretty much everybody on here knows me, but my name's Jason Harris, aka Coach FitPro J, your diet-free fat loss specialist. I help successful busy people turn their mom and dad bods into, oh my God, bods, without overwhelm by keeping it simple, keeping it moving, and keeping it real. Welcome to tonight's holiday survival training. If you missed the last holiday survival training that happened on November 20th, we went over two simple yet effective ways that you can use to enjoy, two strategies that you can use to enjoy holiday indulgences without going overboard. Eat until you're 80% full and eat slowly. If you'd like to get a copy of the replay and your copy of the PDF Holiday Eating Hygiene that covers those two powerful strategies, I'm going to put that in the link. I'm going to put the link into the chat right now so you guys can pick that up. All right, that link is in the chat. If you're watching this on the replay, however, direct message me holiday eating, and I'll make sure that you get that link too. Tonight, we'll dive right into the next section of this guide that'll help you eat, drink, travel, and be thankful and merry all at the same time without the regret. Tonight's topic is post-Thanksgiving. So let's dive right in. I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Did you guys have a plan for Thanksgiving? What strategy, if any, did you use so that you didn't hinder your progress toward your fitness goals? How'd it go? Take me through a day. Any of you guys have any strategies for Thanksgiving? Anybody?
Try to make healthy choices.
Try to make healthy choices. What healthy choices did you make?
I tried to stay away from carbs as much as I could and go with more protein and veggies.
Okay, that's a smart strategy. Awesome. And did you overeat at all?
No.
No? Took it
Nope.
easy. Was the portion sizes that you paid attention to?
Yes.
Awesome.
And
All
no
right.
dessert and no drinks.
No dessert, no drinks either. Just the main entree, huh?
Yep.
Awesome. Did either of you guys have a strategy going into Thanksgiving at all?
I did. I skipped lunch and just kind of combined lunch and dinner, and I tried to pay attention to portion sizes as well. And I tried to go with the 80% rule that we talked about at the last one, but I don't know. I didn't succeed so much in that, but I tried.
What about the 150% mark?
I was at like 90. Let's go with 90.
All right. A little bit uncovered. What about you, Tiana?
My favorite method is the crowding out, so fill the plate with all the vegetables first, and then kind of layer on some of the heavier, richer items. I probably stopped at like 70%, maybe 80%, but we ate early, so that led to eating again. But both of them, if I put them together, was a pretty reasonable amount. But it's that dilution effect that I usually go for. It's like, okay, start with the salad, start with the, denser, greener vegetables. And then by the time you put all that on your plate, there's not much room for, like I call it, the richer stuff. I also did not I traveled, so I didn't have to cook. I did not bring any desserts that I liked. That was my technique this year. Nope.
All right.
Bring anything I like.
Was there plenty desserts that you did like that other people had?
Nope. You know what? I avoid gluten, and I think every single dessert had gluten, and that was an easy choice for me.
Awesome.
You had no choice.
Well, I mean, again, it's not. I'm not allergic. I just choose not to. But that choice, it limits me, and it's actually a good feeling. Like, oh no, I don't really need that. It's not worth the hit. That's how I look at it. Sort of like dog training. Is it worth the hit? No, it's not worth the hit. So.
Awesome. All right. And then Hollis, she said in the chat here that she skipped a meal, and dessert was my third meal, really. That's funny. All right. Good. So tonight, I'm going to share with you how to keep it simple with holiday leftovers, if you have any. Holiday leftovers can be delicious, right? But they can also be high in calories and not always the healthiest option. What are some things that you think you could do so that you could enjoy your holiday leftovers while staying mindful of your fitness and nutrition goals. Does anybody have any ideas what they would do with leftovers so that they don't go overboard? Anybody besides the crickets?
Feed them to the kids and not eat them myself.
All right, feed them to the kids, huh? All right.
I packed a goodie bag for my son who wasn't with us, and we dropped it off the next day. So that's definitely a good strategy. I also take out some of the meat, which is good for us, but I portion a little bit for the dog, and then I also put some in the freezer.
There you go.
That hold well in the freezer.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first strategies or tips, if you will, to do with your leftovers happens to do with share with others. All right. If you have an abundance of leftovers, consider sharing them with friends, family, or neighbors, or the dog, right? This not only reduces temptation to overeat, right, but it also spreads holiday cheer. It's not in your house, you're not going to eat it. That sort of thing. So share with others. Did anybody else give away any of their leftovers if they had any? No? Yes? No? Okay. All right. What would another thing? What would another strategy or tip be for your leftovers when you're dealing with your leftovers? Can anybody think of one?
Away.
Throw them away. Well, that's another one. That's not. It's not in the house. You're not going to eat it, and not going to eat it out of the trash. That's for sure. I like that. All right. How about avoid mindless snacking? Does anybody snack on leftovers straight from the fridge?
No.
Wait, Tiana was shaking her head.
Absolutely, but they're usually like the Brussels sprouts.
Oh, okay, good stuff though.
Something you can grab with your fingers.
True. Instead of like little brownie bites or something, right?
No,
or
exactly.
a dessert. All right. So another thing, it's pretty, I think it's a no-brainer, and you guys have used some of it in your Thanksgiving, portion control. You know, be mindful of your portion size when you're piling on that plate of leftovers. It's easy to overindulge when it's delicious leftovers that you got in the fridge. You remember that turkey meal and the after, right? So try to use smaller plates and containers and avoid piling the plate too high. That's all. Just stick to reasonable sizes. Does that make sense? And then when you do that, you can always eat slowly and eat 80% full too, no matter what size portion is on your plate. So again, in those two strategies, if you miss that, the link to get those is in the chat. The link to get those is in the chat. It should be in the chat. I'll put it there again. All right. So I'm glad we have Tiana on today. Tiana, by the way, if no one does know, she is a registered dietitian that specializes in gut health. And I'm sorry, maybe I should have had you do an intro real quick.
Well, you did a great job. Absolutely.
Tell everybody where you're located.
You gave away my secrets. Yeah. So I'm a registered dietitian, certified functional medicine coach. And I have a brick and mortar practice in downtown Boston in Beacon Hill. And I also work virtually. And this conversation comes up every year with my clients and family members, et cetera. So something I'm comfortable about, but doesn't mean I'm perfect, right? I can always learn something.
Oh, we're all human. That's right. So the next tip, right? Create balanced meals. I know Tiana knows how, but as you prepare your leftover meals, aim for balanced nutrition. Now, what's balanced nutrition, right? You want to include lean protein, vegetables, and smaller portions of starch and carbohydrates, like mashed potatoes or stuffing. Kind of like what Diane did. She used a lot of vegetables and lean protein and was kind of scarce on the other stuff, on the carbohydrates. So can anybody tell me why you would want to prioritize protein when you're trying to balance your meal, your leftover meal? Anybody? Oh, besides Tiana, though.
I know, I was going to say, let me know when you want me to jump in.
Anybody? Okay. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Tiana. Why should we prioritize protein?
I mean, it has a satiety value for sure, right? It is the protein, which turns into amino acids, is certainly essential for us. You can't make amino acids out of nothing. Whereas, we certainly can make fat. We're all good at that. And we can even make carbohydrates. Doesn't mean you don't need to eat them, but prioritize protein. It has satiety value. It's pretty nutrient dense for the amount of calories. So that's a good place to start.
No, that's awesome. Okay, so protein can help you feel full and satisfied, which can prevent overeating.
Yes.
Perfect.
There's also research. If you eat your protein first, you might have covered this, but if you eat your protein first during a meal, you will have less of a spike in blood sugar, which means less of an insulin response if you then eat the carbohydrates after it. So the protein and the vegetables first, carbohydrate second, and sweets.
Awesome.
Second.
Awesome tips. That's perfect.
So
The
don't
other thing,
start with dessert.
So don't start
No.
with dessert. Exactly. Yeah, the restaurants don't have it right. Starting with the bread basket is not a good idea for a good blood sugar control.
especially the portion of the plates that they usually serve too, on top of that. Never mind the gravy and all that, but we'll get to that. So prioritize protein when you're making that plate. So pile on that turkey, whatever lean protein that you have. And then the next thing is add more veggies, incorporate leftover vegetables into your meals. If you have leftover veggies that are in the fridge from Thanksgiving, you can always add them to omelets, salads, stir fries even. Increase your fiber intake and make you feel fuller as well. So between the protein and the veggies, feeling full would be a good thing. You won't have a lot of room for gravies and sauces, because those, of course, you want to limit, right? Be cautious of those high calorie gravies and rich sauces. You want to use them kind of sparingly, or consider a healthier alternative like a light broth based gravy, or even yogurt based sauces, stuff like that. Have any of you guys ever used a broth based gravy or a yogurt based sauce at all, ever?
No.
No. Oh, I'm sure Tian has it.
I use broth when I'm gravy.
Okay. All right. What kind of broth do you use?
Well, depending on the meat, but low sodium.
Okay. Have you ever used
I just
yogurt
feel like it gives it more flavor.
instead of using plain water, right?
Well, I wouldn't use water. I usually will try to get the juices from the meat, but sometimes the meat can be fatty, so I like to only add very small amount.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
I
I've
don't eat
used,
gravy, but
you make it for others.
well, I have the gluten allergy, so I don't do anything with flour.
So better off.
I've never liked gravy. I've never liked mashed potatoes, so I'm kind of fortunate.
Hollis had mentioned in the chat here that she had yogurt in her soup tonight, actually, a spicy yogurt soup. I've never had yogurt in my soup, but I've made savory sauces with yogurt before. Used the 0% fat Greek non-fat yogurt, and use different things, whatever. It depends on what I'm making it with. I mean, I've even made a savory oatmeal before, but that's a different story. So yeah, you can always make a light broth-based gravy or a yogurt-based sauce. Yeah, next year, maybe. But again, holidays are for indulging, right? If you make it right, it tastes like something you would order in a restaurant, though. So I'm just saying. So again, we want to repurpose leftovers. You can get creative with your leftovers, turn them into healthier dishes. Does anybody have an example of a healthy dish that they could use with Thanksgiving leftovers? Okay, I'll start us off. All right. How about a turkey and vegetable stir fry? Simple, right? Okay. A turkey and stuffing wrap with whole grain tortillas, maybe, perhaps? Yeah, no one excited about that one? What about a salad? All right. Yeah, excited about a salad, right? But bear with me. A salad with roasted turkey and cranberry vinaigrette. That's a good holiday one. Anybody else have any other ideas for creative
You can
holiday
make a
leftover?
sandwich or like an inside out sandwich. If you take 2 slices of turkey and then you put the cranberries and the mashed potatoes on the inside.
There you go.
If it was thin enough, you could do roll-ups, but most of the time we're not slicing it thin enough. It's sort of like an inside out one.
I like that. I haven't thought about that. That's a good one. All right. Let's see. So this is another no-brainer, right? Limited sugary treats. Right? Desserts are often a major source of extra calories during the holiday season. All right. Enjoy your favorite treats in moderation and consider sharing with others. Remember, again, if it's not in the house, you can't eat it. So, Tiana, right? You didn't make any dessert to bring. Perfect. But say you did, right? Just leave it there. Come home with nothing. That'll help you limit your sugary treats. And moderation, can anybody define moderation for me?
Like
No?
not portion control. You
It is a
don't
form
eat,
of portion control.
yeah, and you just don't overeat on it.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Oh, wait, got something coming in the chat. Oh, Hollis said she'd like to know more. She'd like to know more. All right. So since I lost my train of thought,
Are we defining what moderation is,
Water.
thank you.
right?
Moderation.
I
So,
mean, is it a slice of pie, like a sixth, an eighth, a fourth? You know,
so
everyone's
say,
slice is different.
Get out the
say,
scale.
yeah. So say you eat like 4 times a day, right? And there's 7 days in the week. You eat every day, right? There's not a day you don't eat. So say that's 28 times you would eat. What would 10% of that 28 be? About 3, right? About 3. So say you have that cadence of eating 4 times a day, 7 days a week, and say 10% of that, which is 3 times, you have some dessert and you don't overeat or anything like that. That's a good way to define moderation. A little bit technical, I guess, but it's a way to do it. So that'll be a form of moderation instead of just kind of guessing or winging it or whatever, or not really having a clear definition of it. So that's an example. All right, here's another one. So this seems like a no-brainer too, but a lot of people tend to have issue with it. Stay well hydrated by drinking plenty of water throughout the day. Drinking plenty of water can help you feel full and prevent overeating. And sometimes thirst can be mistaken for hunger even. All right. Can anybody tell me how much they should be aiming for per day to drink?
60 ounces.
Okay. And what do you base that on?
Just thinking about how many bottles of water that I drink, in the course of a day.
Okay.
I mean, there's 16.9 for the water. So if you drink like 6 of them, 5 to 6 of them, you're pretty good.
All right. So I'll give you guys, and then Hollis said 2 liters. All right. So you should be aiming for your body weight in pounds divided by 2 in ounces of water per day. So say you're 200 pounds, right? 100 ounces of water per day. And that's for a
Wow.
non-active person. That's a lot, right? So if you are active, what you want to do is add on an extra, say 12 ounces or so of water for every half hour of physical activity. So if during the week, I work out for 3 hours, 3 times 12 is 36. 3 hours every half hour. So that's 6. 6 times 12 is 72. So I need 172 ounces of water if I worked out 3 hours.
I have to just be in the bathroom the whole day. That's ridiculous. That's way too much.
Again, your body
That's a
weight
lot.
divided by 2. Your body weight divided by 2 if you're inactive would be great. But yep, that's about how much water. All right. So the other thing you want to do, and this is outside of the holidays. It tends to be more difficult inside the holidays, but you want to stay consistent. It's okay to enjoy holiday leftovers in moderation, but remember to maintain your overall healthy eating habits. All right. So one day of indulgence won't derail your fitness journey if you stay consistent with your healthier choices the rest of the time. So who has trouble with staying consistent here? Anybody have trouble with consistency? No? Okay. So, oh yeah, and Hollis, yes, that is ounces, by the way. So if, again, you're eating 4 times a day, 7 days a week, you're eating 28 times in a week. So out of those 28 times, to be consistent, you don't want to go over a certain percentage. Does that make sense? So if you're at 20%, that's about 6 meals out of the 28 that you would deviate from. And if you would be consistent with that, that's not bad. You're being 75% consistent. Does that make sense? That's a pretty good number to be. And then there's very little difference between 90 and 100%. So that 10% is really like the sweet spot. If you can hit that, if you eat 4 times a day, 7 days a week, 28 times in a week, and you take the three meals in a week, that's your 10%. All right, so that's consistent. It's pretty easy to stay consistent like that. So keep your consistency as the point throughout the holidays. Don't let those indulgences derail you at all. Does anybody else have any questions or tips or anything for their leftovers? No, anybody? Anybody?
How about some soup, stew?
Right, the crock pot. Let's get that involved,
Yeah.
right? Something. Well, I guess nobody really has leftovers. Anyhow, so the other thing you want to do, which is pretty important, I'm not sure how many people think of this, but you might want to might plan your workouts. After indulging on holiday leftovers, plan some physical activity to help burn off those extra calories instead of just, going into a diabetic coma after the turkey and desserts. Go for a walk, hit the gym, engage in any form of exercise that you enjoy. That's the key. Do any type of movement that you enjoy because you're more apt to continue to do it. Okay, so plan your workouts. And by the way, I made a simple and effective beginner-friendly holiday workout that requires no special equipment and can be done at home, on the go, or in a small space. Anybody interested?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah? All right, I'm going to put that link in the chat right now for you guys. Copy. All right. That link is in the chat. If anybody is watching this on the replay, all you have to do is direct message me, holiday workout, and I'll make sure you get that link too. Just that simple. Does anybody have any questions on this evening's training?
I think it's not a question, but just a statement. It might be helpful to have a buddy in this. I mean, you might have already talked about that as well. Kind of check in with your buddy. How are you doing with your kind of holiday goal?
Strength in numbers.
Sometimes it can be a family member, as long as that family member isn't going to turn into the food police, which I always make an announcement at every holiday. I'm not the food police, so you don't have to hide anything from me.
Oh, you have that label, I'm sure, at home.
Definitely do. Definitely.
It's better than the family members who are like, is that all you're eating? Take more.
Yeah,
Have some of this, have
exactly.
some of this.
Yeah. So you do have to learn how to navigate that. So sometimes I do practice some pat responses for people who feel the pressure to eat more from their friends and family. So, figure out you could be kind of like snarky or respectful about, oh, that looks so good. You're so right, but I'm so full. Can I portion some of that for later? And then you put it away and you have it or you don't. But that way that's, to the respectful, grandma, maybe to your sister, you kind of like have a different
None of your business.
yeah, exactly. Like, I won't even say what kind of snarky things people have come up with, but I do think it's important to visualize it and to practice it, because I do hear exactly, Casey, what you just said is that pressure when you're trying to change your eating habits and be consistent, even on a holiday. There's so much pressure of, oh, it's a holiday. Come on, have another piece of pie.
It won't hurt you.
Yeah, and you might be perfectly satisfied with none or the one, and they're actually pressuring you, right? So it's almost better to anticipate that that's going to happen.
That's because they don't want to be on it. They don't want to be unhealthy alone.
Absolutely, and especially if you start changing your body shape, and then between Thanksgiving and Christmas, maybe you're looking a little toner. Yeah, that makes them look bad. So,
No, people don't like that. They don't want to see you doing better than they are. Typically, it happens.
yep. And the distraction technique works too. You're like, oh, did you hear so-and-so got a puppy? Like, talk about something completely different.
Just change the subject on them.
You change the subject. And then also, I also work with people to try to change the conversation away from our body, right? Because people feel like it's a compliment. Oh my gosh, have you lost weight? That's like, well, what are you trying to say? Right. Or, oh, I heard this person, lost weight. It's like, what about all their accomplishments? What about the fact that they just graduated from a program and just won an award and published an article? So that's another thing we practice is how to take the focus away from our body shape, body size.
No, that's awesome advice, especially during the holidays, because
Yeah,
a
during
lot of
the
that
because
does
you
come
haven't
up.
seen these people, right? And so they're going to remark if you've changed, especially if there's some envy, jealousy involved.
No, that's awesome to bring that up. Thank you, Tiana. Because you
Mm.
haven't, I mean, you weren't on the other holiday trainings, and
Right.
this is I'm glad I have you here now. Is there anything else that you can think of as far as the holidays are concerned, like that? Because that was excellent.
Well, I didn't know if anyone else had some concerns that have come up, like, oh, how do you navigate this and how do you navigate that? I mean, alcohol comes up a lot.
Yeah.
For those who choose not to drink, but they hang out with heavy drinkers. And so sometimes there's a level of fudging it a little bit. You pour you one glass of wine and you nurse it all night long, or, you have something wine-like in a glass. I mean, during COVID on all those Zoom, brunches, I started out with wine and then I was like, what am I doing having wine on a Sunday afternoon? So I would put like my cold brew coffee in my wine glass. Like no one would know, and then you're swirling it around, so sometimes you're just like faking it in a way or making some kind of a spritzer. So when that comes up, that does come up is how to avoid alcohol from people who keep refilling your glass, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's awesome too. And then anyone that's watching this on the replay, again, there is a video out there that I have that I could share with you, and it's how alcohol affects your fitness goals. Tiana and I are on that, so it's a very good video. So if you guys want that, then and you're watching this on the replay, just direct message me. Alcohol info.
Yeah.
That'll work, and I'll get you that link.
Yeah. I
Perfect.
also always in these conversations around the holidays, I caution anyone who, for whatever reason, happens to be following a very low fat diet. Not that that's what you're recommending. I know you have a moderate approach, so it's not fat free, but for someone who might have been tempted to go more on the fat free or very, very low fat, you want to be careful if you go from one extreme to the other, because you can overstimulate the gallbladder. And there's actually research to show there's more gallbladder attacks around the holidays than any other time, because you kind of haven't been stimulating it on a low fat diet.
And then you indulge.
And then all of a sudden you indulge. Exactly. So that's something to be aware of. And those who aren't digesting well, of course, remember, I'm a gut and happy gut person. Then you could talk to me about some techniques that you can use if you're getting a little more of that, indigestion from the richer food that you might not have gotten if it was a holiday. And it's really uncomfortable to be sitting around with people on the holidays not feeling good. So that's something I help people with as well.
Interesting. I haven't even thought of that. See? Excellent. Thank you, Tiana. Appreciate that. Does anybody else have any issues, concerns, questions that center around nutrition and fitness around the holidays? I mean, the next one's coming up. It's going to come up pretty quick, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
We got that training on the 18th too. So I'll be putting questions out to see if anybody has any concerns, questions, or anything about coming up for Christmas, because all this stuff that we talked about for Thanksgiving, pre-Thanksgiving, even the holiday travel, it's all still pertinent through the next holidays, I should say, because we have Christmas and then we have New Year's, and of course stuff doesn't stop until what, mid-January or so. So I mean,
and then along comes Valentine's Day.
more chocolate and sugar.
Right.
We have to have another gut bug one, Tiana,
Right.
for Valentine's Day.
Yep.
All right. If no one else has anything, that's a cue. No? Okay. That's it for this evening's holiday survival training. All right.
Thank you.
So tonight, no, you're welcome. Tonight we covered a bunch of tips on how to keep it simple with holiday leftovers. And we even got some other cool advice from Tiana that was not on the agenda, which is always welcome. If you'd like a copy of the PDF, How to Keep It Simple with Holiday Leftovers, that covers all of the info that we went over tonight. The link is going to be in the chat right there with the workout one. So I'm going to put that in the link right now. The link I just put in the chat again is the How to Keep It Simple with Holiday Leftovers PDF. All right. I want to thank you all for joining me and participating this evening. Don't forget to join in on the next holiday survival training entitled Pre-Holiday, happening Monday, December 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be diving into the pre-holiday section of the 2023 Keep It Simple Holiday Survival Guide. That's the guide. Let's see if anybody remembers. Does anybody remember the long-winded kind of name that I gave to the guide or what it does? Anybody? I don't expect you to get it. No? Nobody?
The thankful and merry thing?
Yeah. Let's see if someone can.
Something about, no, I don't remember. Something about being thankful and merry without the regret, but there's a lot more to it that I don't remember.
That's right. I'm trying to find it myself so I say it right. Oh
If he doesn't
my.
remember, we shouldn't.
Right?
That's pretty bad, right? Well, it's the guide. There's a lot of words, folks. All right. So it's the guide that will help you eat, drink, travel, and be thankful and merry all at the same time without the regret. Casey, you almost had it. You almost had it. And then
Okay.
I almost didn't have it unless I found it. So I mean, it's okay. I'm gonna keep it real. Anyway, I'm Coach Fipro J, your diet-free fat loss specialist. I help successful busy people turn their mom and dad bods into, oh my God, bods, without overwhelm by keeping it simple, keeping it moving, and keeping it real. Using my 3-phase program, Diet-Free Bootcamp, for successful busy people. If you'd like to connect with a coach that talks the talk and walks the walk, you can send me a direct message right here on Facebook, or if you're watching this on the replay, you can email me also at jason@fiprojcoaching.com. Remember, Fit Fam, keep it simple, keep it moving, and keep it real, especially when it comes to your fitness. Have an awesome end to November of 2023. I can't believe we're at the end. And I'll see you on the next holiday survival training. Thank you, guys. See you.
All right,
Thank
great.
you.
Bye.
Have a nice
Bye.
night.